everybody. It's Danielle Blanchette with Benzinga Events, where we bring Benzinga news to life. I'm really excited today to be joined by Tiffany Woodman, CEO and founder of Canna Bella Lux, for one of our first success stories from Benzinga Events. So I'm going to bring Tiffany in now.
Hey,
Hello.
Danielle.
Hey, Tiffany. Welcome on the show. So great to talk to you.
You too. You know I love Benzinga, guys.
Tiffany might actually be Benzinga's biggest fan. So for this first episode, it worked out well.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we're so excited to have you. This particular series is going to be featured on Benzinga Connect, which is our new, it's the app that exists at the event. So we've always had the app, and that's how people connect directly, set one-to-one meetings. That's where they find all the information when they're on site at the events. We brought Benzinga Connect into an even bigger scope and decided to do a monthly newsletter where we're giving you all of the information about what's going on with Benzinga events that you need to know about. And we want you to attend and learn about everything that you can so you can do better at your jobs. So I'm bringing Tiffany in because she is our first success story that we want to talk about. Not the first of all success stories at Benzinga, but one of many that we're really excited about. So Tiffany, just to kick us off, why don't you tell me a little bit about how your journey into cannabis started, and then a little bit how you learned about Benzinga.
Okay, so my journey to cannabis actually started right about 4 years ago, officially with my business. I got into cannabis 5 years ago as a medical patient. Long story short, I had a really fun CFO at a nonprofit that was like, you have anxiety, go get a medical card like my sister. Got a medical card, learned about all the amazing, amazing benefits of cannabis and plant medicine, and then was like, where is a place for women? I didn't really know enough about like social equity and dispensaries. And I was like, that just seems so overwhelming. And I don't know enough to even dig in. So I figured, what's the next best thing you could do? And also capital, right? So I opened up a store called Canna Bella Lux, and it was a lifestyle retail store, a brand. It was a safe space to buy bongs and jeans and candles and talk about cannabis or not, right?
Right.
And now we are launching to the THC side. But for me, Benzinga actually, and this is not like an ad, you guys, Benzinga really plays this like big part in my story of being a Latina woman in cannabis, living a dream of having a THC brand, which is like a unicorn deal, right? Everyone's always like, how did you do this, right? Well, Benzinga for me is really a big part of that story, along with Women Grow.
Great. Yeah. So exactly on that. So tell us a little bit about the scholarship program and when you first came to Benzinga last fall.
So what's interesting is through Curaleaf, I got into the sort of Rooted in Good program and learned about things. And Women Grow is a part of that. And I got to learn about Women Grow. Well, Tanya and Gia, my God, Gia, they're just amazing. So
they really are, yeah.
through their partnership that you guys actually did for women, I was able to get a scholarship to Chicago and be able to put a presentation together and sit with these other women and share our stories and have a space where I wouldn't have been able to get into that room, because Benzinga is not for beginners. It is really such a curated space of the right people in the right spaces that you really need to do to get to the next level. So for me, going to Chicago was like, Women Grow just was the best. And I couldn't believe I got this email and I'm like, what? Women Grow? Benzinga? I get to go and like show my brand. It was a really big milestone for me to even be able to attend. It was huge.
Yeah, and that was the inaugural year of the Women Grow Scholarship Program, so that was really exciting for us to see the success of that and be able to build on that for Miami last year as well, and continue to develop our great relationship with the team at Women Grow and BIPOC and on the social equity side. So it's been a really cool process for the Benzinga team to kind of branch out into these areas where we can bring scholarship folks in. And like you said, Benzinga is not everything to everyone. It is a very specific conference that is matching brands with capital needs. And with the expertise that these brands need, both on the capital side and the marketing side, to be able to move their businesses forward. And we really love that niche, and we know we're very good at it. So we're trying to do a very good job and bring more people into the fold, because capital is something that everybody needs. And so it's really important for us to foster those relationships and create that space for people to have just those, brand partnership conversations, those licensing conversations. It's so much more than just, general investment. It really is the whole
so much, literally so much more. It's very like Hamilton, the room where it happened. Like, I want to be in the room where it happened. Like, you want to be a Benzinga. If you're at that point where you're making moves, you can't miss it, because it's where these conversations are seriously happening, you know? So
yeah. So tell me a little bit about the difference between the first edition of Benzinga when you went last fall in Chicago to going to Miami, and the differences between those two.
wow. So it's really wild. So the first one in Chicago, I think we were all really curious. I was really curious, really excited. It was awesome. It was smaller, a little bit smaller. I will say this over and over. Thank you for feeding us. I mean, the best thing about Benzinga is like you feed us and that takes off just for so many different reasons help. So Chicago, you know, for me personally, I was at this cusp, right? Of like, where is the brand going? I was, you know, kind of figuring things out. And so it's really funny because where I was in Chicago, I very specifically was sitting in our booth, and the brand that I'm working with now was kitty corner, like diagonal to us, right? And so like we knew each other, you know, they knew me, I knew them. It was cool, but like getting to sit at the Benzinga spot with Women Grow and having this, you know, double booth area and having people come see, having them see Gia from Women Grow was really, really proactive about making sure that we knew what we needed to do to be prepared for Benzinga. So we had investor decks ready to go. So being able to hand out my investor deck, talk about where I was trying to take my brand was so interesting because now you're like, all right, so Chicago, I'm sitting there being like on a scholarship, trying to figure this out, you know, that's in, you know, September. Meanwhile, from September to this April, I'm talking to this brand, Kitty Corner. We're making this deal. They see what's happening with me. They see my presence and legitimacy because of Benzinga. For some other different avenues, it was like Benzinga solidified my presence as a serious brand that was getting looked at. They were able to see that. I was able to see them and what they were doing. And then you turn around to April, we're going to Miami. I'm getting to one. I got to speak with you guys, which was so amazing. And we got to go to beautiful Miami, Fontainebleau, these huge, beautiful, like I have to tell you, like you guys did such an amazing job getting the people there. It was like the best group of people. It was so diverse. Just all the rooms, all the people, the different conversations that were happening, the different topics. It was like, what conversation do you go to? To be real, guys, Benzinga is one of the only conferences I really actually go for the speaking. There's a lot I go for the trade show, and I don't always want to hit the rooms because they're kind of the same old thing.
Right.
But the speakers were so cool in Chicago. You had Ric Flair, Mike Tyson, but you come through, and Miami just had even more. I feel like you guys keep outdoing yourselves. Like, really, I felt like, I felt so great walking into Miami because through that time and through people seeing different things throughout the year and the connections that I made in Chicago, I was able to have more relationships, better conversations, more direct. How can we actually work together and get it done? And it felt really good to come back knowing that I'm launching, you know, a brand, and that for me, I felt like I was seeing friends again, right? Like,
yeah,
great.
It's funny. One of the key things we talk about internally at Benzinga is just like the ability to build at Benzinga. That's sort of the mantra of everybody who works here, is that we have this freedom and the power, and we're empowered to build. Right. And I think our events really bring that to real life because we do that with all of the partnerships that we create. We have long-standing partnerships with our sponsors and our speakers, and we're trying to vary up the content so that it stays relevant. But at the same time, we want people to come back and feel like they can see a familiar face and they have those same conversations. And that's how brands are built, is all that networking, all those relationships, and that capital.
You do it so well. Do it so well. You guys do, because I feel like there were brands that I was like, what? Wow. Like this one guy's coming with this dripped out from like Germany or whatever. And I'm like, what drop? What is this thing? And, you know, there's so many cool opportunities. And I will say, yes, I actually did go to the nightclub. You guys did an amazing job at Live in Miami. And that felt, though, like a really safe space for me to be. And I will say this, as a woman, me being able to go to Live, wear a dress for me that was a little more like, I mean, it was like, I showed my back. Wow. But like to be comfortable in a cannabis space with a bunch of men, I felt safe. I will tell you what also makes me feel really safe is not just the quality of people that you guys had. I know I can see Patrick, Elliott, I can see you, I can see everyone, right? I can see all of the staff where you're just like, oh my God, like you see Melanie and you see everyone and you feel like you're seeing everyone. It's a controlled amount of people. Again, no one's paying me to say this, guys. I just love it. But I really want to be clear that for me as a woman, and as a woman of color, that's a really strong feature that I felt so safe. It feels like when you're a Benzinga, you've hit this legitimacy. And then when I could come back and be like, hey, I have a THC brand that I'm launching the THC part, it felt like a really big win for me career-wise.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. I want to know what's going on. So right now, I know you had a really great experience in Miami, and you've got
yes.
So what can you tell us about your success story?
After my favorite, funnest time in Miami, which I will tell you guys so far, if everything, even Benzinga Chicago, has been my absolute favorite cannabis, like any like trade show, conference, anything, best one I was at. It was awesome because we went into 420. And I'm launching my THC brand with the 1937 group. So we are launching flower products for women, weed, and wellness. And it's really, really exciting because we're really terpene based. And it's really about trying to go away from like indica sativa hybrid while understanding that that is what the consumer is still going to shop with. So it's fun building this brand. It's the Bellaverse. And we're creating a whole different dreamy realm with products that I think people are going to enjoy, that it's going to feel really good. And really, like I said, when I track my story, it's so cool to know it's like from this girl Annie to who's over here to Cureleaf, to who's over here to Tanya, who's over here to Benzinga, to over here to this brand. And it's like, oh my God, like it's wild. And one thing I think that's really exciting is that, launching the first Latina brand, fully owned and operated brand in Illinois is a big deal. And for me, it just feels like just feels awesome. Like I'm going to tell you guys, we're doing Bellatinis. Like we're doing these beautiful, that name I can say, and we're doing some really cool things that I think are just going to add some really fun products to the market that Illinois hasn't seen, or, just things that, again, like you say, Bills, I want to build the Bellaverse, and it's really about community. And when we say community, it's not just the cannabis community. It's outside of it. So like one thing that I liked also at like Miami was that there were people who are kind of like, look, they're investors, so they have the money. It's just that they're new to cannabis, and I want that person also. So it was really cool to see all of those people. So like some of the people that I met, I'm doing like cone stuff with, or we're looking at some of the pens with. There's people that I met through Benzinga for me that like design wise, just like it's really cool to come to fruition that like this product's there. And I'm really excited to smoke the product in Benzinga, Chicago. And that's what I'm looking forward to is attending that and sharing, and just seeing who's going to come. You get a lot of cool people. Miami, I feel like you get a lot of really fun people that want to fly to Miami because it's cool. But like, especially with Canada and other things, you can get some Chicago flights you get people that it's a really easy flight to go to Chicago. So I'm excited to see who you guys are going to bring us.
Yeah, the audience definitely differs between the two events. And that's why the people who can, we definitely recommend going to both, because it's a different set of people. It's a different set of expertise. And the content's just going to keep growing and getting better. And I think that's definitely, the ways to be efficient, the ways to streamline is so important to the cannabis space right now. And so we just want to bring that information to them as easily as we can. And we have the Benzinga Awards that takes place in the fall. So that's a differentiator from Miami as well. So lots of really cool things will be happening in Chicago. And we're really excited.
I'm excited for it too. And you guys know I will always be like, I'm hopeful for some fun woman events, and I'm just like really excited. One, I always love to eat, so the food's always good with you guys. But two, like you said, I liked going to both. I think they're both really worthwhile, especially time-wise. I mean, to go from where I was in September to April was the biggest jump. And so it just makes a lot of sense, and they're growing. And I think it's just fun to see people again. It's fun to see the people. It's fun to see where cannabis is headed every year. We're hearing of a new thing. So I'm just really excited. And I just have to tell you guys, I say this before, but I'll say it again. Like, thank you, Benzinga, for making these opportunities and for actually listening. And like, you listen, you improve it, and you take it to the next level. You guys are never satisfied with being like, well, we did enough. We did status quo. We checked off a box. You guys are constantly striving above and beyond to be allies, to be friends, to be really vetting a different kind of cannabis experience where it's not just about like, anyone can just buy a ticket. Yes. But at the same time, you really get the kind of people, whether new, old, this or that care about where the industry is going and have really unique perspectives that I love seeing across the board. And you are very diverse. So I just have to say thank you, because, I consider Benzinga a really big part of my story in my cannabis career and this brand. So like, thank you guys for giving me this amazing opportunity.
It's so great. We love having you be part of the Benzinga family. We're so excited for the Capital Conference that's taking place September 27th and 28th in Chicago at the Marriott Mag Mile. And Tiffany, where can everybody find you if they're looking for more info on Canna Bella Lux?
You can find me at cannabellalux.com or on Instagram at Canna Bella Lux, Threads Canna Bella Lux. Basically, if you type in Canna Bella Lux, you can find us, and we are here to lux your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tiffany. This is signing off for Benzinga Connect. Everybody have a great day.